Oh man, this going live stuff is for the birds. Welcome to the Bungalow Sports Show. This is a live episode we're doing tonight. This is Monday, kind of around the time that we usually go live, but we're not perfect. Yesterday, Joey was feeling a little under the weather. So he was out of commission, which is when we usually record. I was having a weird day yesterday. And then, just a busy day today. And my goal is eventually to do all this shit live. And, obviously I'll record it and you can watch it later if you don't have time to watch it live. But since I was kind of forced into it, I said, why not go live this week? So fuck it, we'll do it live. Sorry, I've got all this stuff going right now. I'm trying to make sure everything's going. Are we going live? Are we live? We're live, right? Yeah, we're live. Here we are. Okay. Well, good thing nobody's viewing. But anyways, let's start the show. Welcome to the Bungalow Sports Show. I'm your host, Cole James Rambo. This week, as I said, we are live. If this goes on with, gangbusters, then we'll be live every week on Sunday mornings. And maybe that's just how we'll do it from now on. But like I said, Joey was out of commission yesterday for recording. I was having a weird day. My hair looks stupid. God, bad hair day. No, now I just look bald. Ugh. Why does my hair look so dumb? Come on, I gotta get some volume in the front. Gotta get some of that volume. Anyways. Crazy week. It's been crazy. Kids are all back in school, having to switch schedules back around, but we're adapting, and we're just doing it live. And as always, this show is brought to you by Betalytics. Betalytics.com. Go to Betalytics and get your profile started and get 25% off with promo code PEAK1. They are the first real sponsor I've ever had as a podcast, so please support them if you are a sports bettor. And, you're tired of losing and tired of beating yourself up because, you're betting with your gut and, making some wrong choices, making some emotional choices. Go to Betalytics and they'll give you all the AI, all the predetermined outcomes, all the different statistics you need to make an educated bet. Don't bet with your gut. Go to Betalytics, 25% off. We are also... I have the graphics now, and look at that. We're also brought to you by LeagueSwipe. Again, LeagueSwipe.com. We got fantasy leagues coming up, fantasy drafts coming up. If you are a commissioner in need of some help to get your league organized, get the money organized, and all kinds of little things to help you along the way with your fantasy season as a commissioner. Go to LeagueSwipe.com and see what they can offer, and tell them the Bungalow Sports Show sent you. Like I said, it's been a busy week, and it's no excuses. Everybody's got excuses. Everybody's got shit to do, and we're all just we're doing our best, We're doing our best to go out there and just get it. Grab life by the balls and just get it. And we're doing that every day. And sometimes it doesn't involve doing a semi-profitable sports show. Look at that, dude. Joey's not here and I'm burping again. I don't know what's going on with that. But you may wonder why I just put this American flag up there today. And here's why. It's not 4th of July. That's usually the only time I whip out the American flag. But I'm bringing out the American flag today because I got to exercise my right as an American business owner today. And that lovely right we all have when we own our own businesses to refuse service to anyone. I reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. And I've been in business for myself for 7 years now, going on 8. And I'm an easygoing guy. I don't know if that comes across in this podcast or not. But I'm pretty easygoing. You know what I mean? I try to get along with everybody. I try to, I especially when it comes to business, dealing with customers. You know what I mean? I'm not a harsh guy. My tone is mellow. I'm usually jovial and in a positive mindset. So I don't have a lot of disputes. Don't have a lot of customer disputes, I don't do retail. I'm a construction business. I'm a remodel business. So it's not like I got customers coming in every day and freaking out on me and stuff. So it's like a different story if you own a business like that. But in my line of business, I'm fortunate enough to kind of get to pick and choose my customer base. And as a subcontractor, you know what I mean? I usually have the same group of people that hire me all the time, other contractors, remodel type people. That use me a lot, and that's kind of just how my business rolls, but I'll occasionally get referrals. I'll get some referrals from other trusted clientele to new people that want to use my services. Great, grand, fantastic. You know what I mean? That's how I keep busy. But every once in a while, personalities just clash. You know what I mean? And I have the type of personality where, even if, in our personal lives, we would clash and I wouldn't want to hang out with you, it doesn't mean we can't do business together. You know what I mean? We're not hanging out at the barbecue together. We're just trying to get this business transaction done. Bada boom, bada boom, bada bum, and then we're done. And I work with a lot of people on a regular basis that I wouldn't be friends with, outside of work, but that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's called a working relationship. But then there's some people that you can't even carve out a working relationship with. And that's what I had this week. And it was only the second time in almost 8 years that I had to tell somebody to kick rocks. You know what I mean? And I hate doing that, right? Because, it's the antithesis of business is refusing someone business. But again, is the age-old American right to refuse service to anyone. And, this lady I had to deal with this week, and I've been dealing with her for a couple weeks now. I was just changing some glass in a storefront. She was a referral from a good customer, usually a job I wouldn't have taken, but I took the job because it was a referral from a really good old customer. So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll help you out. But, this lady I only talked to her over text and maybe I think 2 phone calls over the last 2 weeks. And it's been fine. And then coming down to the wire this last week or so when I wanted to set up installation and all this stuff, I had some delays. I had a delay in the delivery of the glass. And then they're big giant pieces. I'm a one-man show. So when I have big heavy-ass stuff, I got to hire somebody to come help me. The guy that I usually hire to come help me wasn't available until the following Monday. So last Friday, I text this lady, I'm like, hey, I wanted to install those things this afternoon, but my guy, he's sick. He'll be out till Monday. If for some reason he can't help me on Monday, I got another person who said they can help. So no matter what, we'll get this stuff done Monday, and then she sends me this text of just like, is this ever gonna get done? Excuses and blah 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 and da da da. And it's just this crazy run-on 2-paragraph thing of just like basically telling me, what the fuck is wrong with me. And it's like, okay, here's the deal. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to think that I'm making up excuses to not do your job, which is, it's so crazy to me when people come at you with that attitude, especially in construction where me getting paid is predicated on me completing your job, right? So, for you to say that I'm making up excuses not to do the job when I've got $700 worth of glass sitting on the side of my house, that's asinine to me. Why wouldn't I want to do the job? Of course I want to do the job. If I could have got this done a week ago, I would have. It's just, this is how things are panning out. Again, you hired a one-man company to do this job. My prices are affordable because I'm one guy, I have low overhead, and my schedule's wonky, and one little delivery mishap or whatever else sends my whole week out of whack. So, you know, you're getting a discount based on the fact that you're working around my schedule, and whatnot. So, whatever. All this, man, maybe I should just get a business card that says all that shit on it before I get into business with new people. But anyways, whatever it was, we weren't jiving. Our personalities were not jiving. We were clashing. She pissed me off with her last text message talking about excuses and blah, blah. We hired you because you came highly recommended. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You hired me because you got 2 other companies out. They were way more expensive. And then the bartender at whatever restaurant gave you my number. And then I was cheap. That's why you hired me. I may have came highly recommended from that restaurant owner that gave you my number. But the fact of the matter is, if I came in and I was more expensive than the other quotes you got, you wouldn't have hired me. So I hate it when people play those games too. They try to like manipulate the, you know, how the situation is going down and why you got the job to begin with. Because I was so highly recommended and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, I do my job well, but you also are paying, you know, almost half as much as you would pay anybody else. But that's beside the point. Our attitudes just weren't meshing. So I said, hey, you know what? And I'm in a business, in the glass business, and when you're dealing with like old storefronts or shit's barely hanging on, there's random screws and wood blocks holding this glass in. So, you know, knowing my luck, I'd get over there, install the stuff, and then we'd have another, you know, hiccup in the job, and then what kind of attitude was I going to have to deal with then, and what, you know, situationally and all that stuff. So at this point, if I'm feeling a certain kind of way just over text message, I'm like, nah, we got to cut this off right now. And that's my bad. I should have cut it off before I ordered the damn glass. So I'm eating $700 worth of glass. But to me, again, pointing at this American flag, that's my right as American business owner. Just to tell you to kick rocks. Okay, that's it. Because then she sends me this thing like, oh, no, we go through all this, and now after you actually have the glass, you don't want the job. And it's like, no. That's not, I want the job. I don't want to deal with you. And you obviously don't want to deal with me. And we're just not jiving. So as it is, and it may be easier for everybody, we're done. We're just done. I'll chop this glass up. I'll use it on some other jobs. And we'll forget about this ever happened. You know, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm a nice guy, and I hate confrontation, and it fucked my whole day up. You know what I mean? Just because any type of interaction like that, because I go out of my way on a daily basis to try to not have those type of situations and those type of conversations with people, because most of the time they're unneeded. Because in most every situation, you can find some common ground or whatever. But she just wasn't having it. She wasn't having any of my excuses. She wasn't having it. So there you go. You know what I mean? But hey, like I said, that is the beautiful thing about owning a business in the good old US of A. If I don't like the way you're talking to me, you could just get out of here. If you don't like the way, if I don't like the way you're talking to me, you just go. You just get out of here. But anyways, America, land of the free, home of the brave, land of no shoes, no shirt, no service. All right, moving on to some sports stuff. Our favorite topic here on the Bungalow Sports Show. Moving on to baseball. Baseball, trying to be cool, except not so cool this week. Wander Franco, Tampa Bay Devil Rays star, Wander Franco, allegedly dating a 14-year-old. That's pedophilia, brother. That's pedophilia, brother. Wander, what are you doing, dude? Stop wandering. He's got that wandering eye for children. I mean, and this, like I gotta say, I don't want Peak One to get sued. I don't want to get sued. This is all alleged. You know, there was like some social media posts, you know, of him and a young teenager. You know, I saw one thing. One thing was like so crazy because like the first thing when like celebrities come out and like get busted for like grooming children or, all the creepy type of shit that people are getting busted for all the time nowadays. There's always the defenders out there be like, they didn't know that she wasn't 18. And it's just like, it's just bullshit. It's just an ex-girlfriend trying to get back at him. An ex-girlfriend that's 13? How does that make sense? The internet will give you some of the craziest takes on situations. They come out and say Wander Franco is allegedly dating a 13-year-old girl, and they're saying, hey, no, that girl's just a disgruntled ex-girlfriend. And I'm like, yeah, a 13-year-old ex-girlfriend. What the fuck? It's disgusting, Wander. So, chalk that up to baseball. That's our baseball stories for the day. Way to go, baseball. Hockey stuff. Hockey stuff in the news. I know, you guys. It's not even hockey season, but we got to bring it up. We always bring it up anytime there's updates with the Arizona Coyotes. The Arizona Coyotes owner, Alex Morello, has put in a letter of intent to purchase 41 acres in the Mesa, Arizona area to, build a new arena. So they are still trying to get a bite of that Arizona apple. I don't know. We've had, other than the last couple weeks, we've had a discussion almost every gosh darn episode about this Arizona Coyotes team and the way the NHL's handling it, the way the ownership's handling it, and the cities of Arizona. And it's like, obviously, Arizona doesn't want them. Because if they really wanted their hockey team, they would be really, chomping at the bit to try to settle this whole thing and come up with a solution. But it just seems like it's just completely falling on the owner of just, will you guys have us? Will you guys have us? Will you guys have us? You know what I mean? And this whole thing about putting a bid to buy land or a letter of intent to buy land, it's like, yeah, you can buy the land, but are they going to let you build an arena? Are they going to let you build a freaking city center? I mean, that's like arenas nowadays it's more than just an arena. It's the whole outlying area and everything else involved with it. And just because you can buy some land doesn't mean that they're going to let you build a pro sports arena there or for the Coyote. I mean, so maybe this is promising. Maybe it isn't. Maybe this is just a thing to keep kicking the can down the road. But it's like, just get out of Arizona. Me and Joey we settled it. Just get out. I'm sorry, I was checking the time. It's weird. It's weird being alive. I'm not going to lie. It's weird. Yeah, you can't say that the South doesn't like hockey because obviously we got a Las Vegas championship team. We've got the Kings who've won cups. We've got Dallas who's, popular. We've got Florida teams that are always in the mix. We've got Carolina. We've got a lot of Southern teams that hold it down. You know what I mean? The Nashville Predators. Hockey can go anywhere. It's just specific spots. You know what I mean? And if Arizona isn't one of those spots, then it's not one of those spots. So I don't know why they're so hell-bent on trying to keep that team there. And that just, 1 week they're gone. The next week they're buying land. The next week that gets denied. And the next week they're doing this and that. And it's just like, just save everybody some trouble. Pick a new city. Find a city that wants you, because there is a city that's going to want you. Play your next season, at the ASU stadium, and then get the hell out of AZ, man. I'm not an owner, obviously. But I guess maybe his heart's in Arizona and he wants to keep him there. His heart howls at the moon like a coyote. All right, moving on in other hockey news. We got Big Joe Thornton. His number is going to be retired at the San Jose Sharks, at the Shark Tank. Outstanding career. Just one of the, best point getters, one of the best assist men, one of the best quarterbacks in NHL history. The Sharks definitely had their run where, they could have made it. I mean, they made it to the Cup once. They could have made it several times, maybe even won one. But you know how the cookie crumbles in professional sports. It's hard to win a championship. You know what I mean? And it's a game of inches. And the Sharks had their time. Now they're in a rebuild phase. And what better way to start this year off? Even though it's a year of low expectations. But a positive way to start the season than retiring Big Joe's number. Put that big 1-9 up in the rafters at the Shark Tank. And congratulations there, Joe Thornton. What do we got? We got some UFC news. Another big man, Derek Lewis. We talk about him fairly often. He just had our biggest win of the night at our live show a few weeks ago. And that was his last fight on his contract. And Alexis and I pondered back and forth on Bungalow Fight Show last week about what his trajectory was going to be, whether he was going to go be kind of a prize fighter outside of the UFC and just, go pick up big money fights all over the place in different organizations and things like that, or if he was going to sign with the UFC. And he has signed with the UFC. 6-fight contract nonetheless. So big deal. Because, if he's going to sign that big of a contract, he must still have some title aspirations. He came in with that 6-pack and started that knockout with a flying knee. So maybe this next 6 fights, we're going to see an even better Derek Lewis. And I hope so, because Black Beast is one of my faves to watch. All right, moving on. We're just going to keep this thing flowing since we're live. You know what I mean? I don't get to edit out the downtime. All right, here we go. We're getting into football news. Sorry to tell you guys, but The Blind Side was a lie. I don't care how much you love Sandy Bullock's performance or her Oscar speech or any of that shit, but that was... Did she win an Oscar or did the movie? I don't remember. But it was a lie, okay? So Michael Orr, the former NFLer that, the movie The Blind Side was based around his story and the story of these rich whiteys adopting him out of a bad home situation and helping him, have a stable life so he can get to go to Ole Miss and then get drafted into the NFL, all which happened. Okay, because obviously there he is playing for Ole Miss, and then we know he got drafted, to the Ravens. But the whole thing about it that is a lie is that this smiling white lady and this hair-lipped old man right here, they bamboozled him. They bamboozled old Michael Orr because he just found out this year in February that, the papers that he signed that he was assuming or thought or whatever were his an adoption situation where they were making him officially part of their family and all that stuff. It turns out that all they were basically kind of like, they obviously maybe not power of attorney papers, but basically papers saying that they could make financial decisions for him. They can use his name and likeness. They basically sold the movie. They made money off the movie. He made nothing off the movie. Shit like that. Where basically you sign this, we get to make money off of your life. And now, she's writing books and motivational speaking and all. And not to mention they were already rich before that. They owned like fucking fast food restaurants or some shit. They've been making all this money for years off of this Blind Side story, off of Michael Orr and all this stuff. I'm sure he's made scratch. He was in the NFL, and he is the guy. But as far as the Blind Side and all that stuff and the adoption was concerned, it was all bullshit. These people never adopted him. So, this poor freaking kid who was like the whole reason this story went down, and he trusted these people, and they're like, these people are taking me in their lives. They adopted me. They're going to, I'm part of their family now. It was all just a fucking ploy to exploit his talents and story, apparently. So at least that's what it says in some new lawsuit docs filed by Michael Orr. So that sucks. That's disheartening. But, you know, moving on. Moving on to Hard Knocks, baby. Hard Knocks started. I hope you guys watch it out there. It's always one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite times of year. I realize that Aaron Rodgers is in a Green Bay Packers helmet in this picture, but I only show that because it seems like he's already got a good relationship with these Jets people. And I get it. If you're a real cynical bastard out there watching Hard Knocks saying, all the asshole Aaron Rodgers stuff hit the cutting room floor, all the awkward arguments and things like that, and all that very well may be. But being a fan of Hard Knocks as I am, and being how I like to get sucked into a good story, they're doing it. They're one episode. They're already pulling me in. Aaron's out there being positive and jovial with everyone. I mean, motherfucker had a headset on for the first preseason game. I think it was the Hall of Fame game. And, you know, he's in the headset basically. I mean, he's calling some plays and telling some people what to do, and, you know, giving some insight into the game, but he's mostly just like, you guys are too negative. We need to be positive. And I love that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, let's bring some positive vibes into this thing, you know? And, you know, it seems like he's got a great relationship with Garrett Wilson already, Sauce Gardner. I mean, the stars of the team seem like they're getting along, and that it might mean some good things for the New York Jets. I mean, it is what it is, people. Say what it is. Hard Knocks is Hard Knocks, and I've done it before. I've suckered myself into you know, rooting for some people, thinking they were going to do better than they actually did just because of Hard Knocks. But, you know, hey, last year it was the Lions. Not too shabby. You know what I'm saying? Some of those guys that I was into on the Lions, you know, that they highlighted in Hard Knocks, like Rodrigo. Now he's a bona fide defensive, big boy on that team now. You know what I'm saying? So, things might be looking up for the Jets. But my favorite part of the whole episode was Aaron Rodgers. Liev Schreiber, if you didn't know, Liev Schreiber is the voice of Hard Knocks. I can't do his voice, but you know him from stage and screen. Google him if you don't know who he is. But he shows up in a helicopter, you know what I mean, to the practice field. And he's been, you know, narrating this show for, you know, since its inception. And apparently this was the first time he ever went to a Hard Knocks practice, and he's a Jets fan, so that seems, you know, appropriate, and it's a big year. There was lots of celebrities at the practice, lots of other NFL people, just people wanting to see the vibe with Aaron Rodgers, how he's fitting in with a new team, and he's just such a polarizing character in the NFL nowadays. Everybody wants to see how this is all going to play out. So he goes, and Aaron Rodgers was like, not starstruck, but he was just like, there's Liev Schreiber, man, and like nobody, because everybody out there, freaking Aaron Rodgers might be the oldest motherfucker, not just on the roster, but he might be older than most of the coaches. I mean, he's having to explain to everybody who the hell Liev Schreiber is. And he's like, go over there, say hi to him. He's nervous. And that was cool to me, because say what you want about the teammate interactions and all that stuff, hitting the cutting room floor and shit getting cut out that they didn't want us to see. The reaction of Aaron Rodgers to Liev Schreiber and how he was getting trying to get the other players and staff to go say hi to him because he was nervous to come, you know, he didn't want to bug anybody and all this stuff, like that was kind of a genuineness that, like, I was already an Aaron Rodgers fan. I know there's a lot of Aaron haters out there, whether you hate him because of the vaccine stuff, or you hate him because of the darkness retreat stuff, or the psychedelic stuff, or whatever you might hate him for. Those are all the same reasons that I like him, because I'm a person who's like, let your freak flag fly. Just because you're a football player, just because you're this, just because you're that, doesn't mean that there's a standard you have to change your personality to fit the standard of whatever job you do. I hate that shit, you know what I mean? And I've lived that life of, I've been a construction worker since I was 14. But if you talk to me on a Saturday when I'm in the bungalow, you'd never know I was a construction worker. You know what I mean? Just because, not that there's anything wrong with being a construction worker, but the attitude of the fucking dirty hands, clean money, trade work, fucking whatever shit. Like, I don't know. I don't vibe to that. I don't vibe to just the abrasive machismo, macho type vibe that, you know, construction, sports, you know, a lot of jobs kind of lend themselves to certain personalities and things like that. But that's why I love a person like Aaron Rodgers. Break the mold. Go do what you know, you do you. You do you, boo. You do you, Aaron. Go do you. And fuck everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, if that's all he wanted us to see and they cut out all the parts of him being an asshole, then so be it. But until I literally see video footage of him being an asshole, I've never seen that. You can say that you differ with his opinions, but he's never been an asshole. I go watch media, all the media shit he's done. Even when he's been asked really stupid, annoying questions, he's not a mean guy. He's not an angry guy. He's a very even-keeled guy and seems to be pretty positive presence, which I think is very important in sports. I know a lot of sports guys like to use a different approach, the hard nose, I'm the boss, you know, scream at you, all that type of shit. But that ain't him and that ain't me. So maybe me and Aaron should do a podcast together. Hit me up, dude. All right, let's get into some football breakdown. Football's back. Football's back. I know ball. Joey knows ball. Joey's not here. So let's get into, we're going to break down the NFC South this week. Here's Andy Bear.
I need to borrow your phone.
You need to borrow my phone?
Yeah.
Why? What's going on?
I'm trying to four-way call Patrick because my friends want to do it with him.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
Okay.
Boop. There you go.
I just need to get it so I can tell my mom.
Take it in there. You can take it in there.
Oh, I needed his number.
Huh?
I needed his number, his phone number.
It's right here. Hold on.
Cause it's
Here, take it in there.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh, we were live. You were on the show right now.
Audio.
Live on YouTube. Andy Bear.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's what happens when you go live. The Andy Bear. Sometimes he comes in. But anyways, we are going to break down the NFC South. Probably, I mean, in my opinion, probably the weakest division in the whole NFL this season. And we'll talk about why right now. And that's kind of why I started here too, because there's not a whole lot to talk about. So I figured I could break it down myself. Let's start with the Falcons. All right, the Falcons, you know, ever since they got rid of Matty Ice, they've been bouncing around quarterbacks. They've been struggling to find, rebuild. They've got a few decent pieces, but I don't think they've got enough to make any waves this season because at quarterback, it looks like they're going to start Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke had some real great flashes in Washington. He was one of those backups that when he came in, you were like, oh, shit, this guy could actually do it. You know what I mean? And now he's going to get his chance because it looks like they're going to start him over Desmond Ridder. Maybe not. I think that's up in the air right now. Maybe they're going to start Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder played last season. Was he ready? Maybe not. But even if Desmond Ridder does start, which, I mean, he might. I could be wrong about that. The targets are low. I mean, they got Drake London, Kyle Pitts are just leading their receiver core. I mean, Kyle Pitts, obviously a tight end, but he is definitely a receiving tight end. And, high draft pedigree there with Kyle Pitts. But you got two decent targets, but I don't think either of those targets are lighting the world on fire this season, especially not with Des Ridder, Taylor Heineke throwing to him. And then in the backfield, you got Bijan Robinson, who we've yet to really see what he can do. So it's like, are they Cordarrelle Patterson in the backfield? He's an oldie, but kind of like a Swiss Army knife for them. So he was like their secret weapon kind of last year in the games where they did well. It was always Cordarrelle Patterson putting up big numbers. But shoving Bijan Robinson back there, maybe that opens up Drake London, Kyle Pitts for some more downfield stuff. But the Falcons, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. You know what I mean? And what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, no, I mean, there's really nothing else to really say about them. The inexperience in quarterbacking, we got inexperience in running back, old running back, and then a couple second-year guys. It's going to be a learning experience again this season. They could catch some steam. Let's say Desmond Ridder comes out and he's just like, oh, shit, he is who we thought he was. Then maybe we'll be having a different conversation a few weeks into the season. But as of right now, I don't think it's looking good for the old ATL Falcons. The Panthers, though, the Carolina Panthers, I think they're going to be better than what people are thinking, right? We saw our first little taste of Bryce Young the other day in preseason. He's a little guy, but I'm a little guy myself, so I'm not discriminating. It's just, the little guys who've gotten big money so far in this league haven't really taken that next step, and they've been having some injury problems, i.e. Kyler Murray, i.e. Tua. The little guy is still untested, but Bryce Young had some flashes. They also have, and coming from Alabama, you know what I mean? People are probably expecting him to start. They got the Red Rocket Andy Dalton on the roster too, so there, you never know. There may be a quick change if Bryce Young starts. If they decide to start Bryce Young and he really starts, screwing the pooch, if you will, real quick, they might throw the Red Rocket in there because Andy Dalton is a very serviceable guy. You know what I mean? He's a quarterback. He's never, he's never been the prom king, but he always goes out there and he'll deliver. It's a coin toss if he's going to deliver or not, but he's got a good veteran presence. And what people really aren't talking about is the Panthers also picked up a rookie, Matt Corral from Ole Miss, who was, highly touted like the year before he was drafted, and then the shine came off in his final year in college, which is why he fell. And so Panthers got two rookies behind the Red Rocket, and, should be a good battle to see which one of those rookies is going to come out on top. I mean, we're all thinking obviously it's going to be Bryce Young, and hopefully he's successful. But in the backfield, the only real name they've got on their running back list right now is Miles Sanders, who obviously did some work for Philadelphia, but he's not one of these guys who, maybe this year because he's going to be first on the call sheet, he's a big fantasy pickup. But I wasn't hearing anybody in my fantasy league, singing the praises of Miles Sanders. But he's going to be the number one man in Carolina. So hopefully he gets some yards. And if the quarterbacks are struggling in the passing game, you might want to pick up Miles Sanders because they might be handing that ball off a lot. But that being said, if the quarterbacks can make a decent throw, I think they've got an underrated receiving core in Carolina, with the top three there being DJ Chark, Adam Thielen, and one of my favorite football names, Laviska Shenault. You may know him from Jacksonville Jaguars fame. But, they've got three guys who can really make some damn plays out there and catch some balls. So if one of those three quarterbacks can get that ball downfield, they've got some guys who can catch it. And if they can find some success at quarterback, they've got the receiving core. I think, it's not a Hall of Fame core, but it's I think it's good. I think it's underrated. I think nobody's talking about their receivers, but they're not talking about the receivers because they've got such questions at quarterback. So that's to be expected. So Panthers, I'm not putting the death knell on them like I did the Falcons. I'll do my rankings at the end, but moving on, heading to the Big Easy, New Orleans Saints. Um, uh, the Saints, just, I mean, they've got an uninspired coach. They've got an uninspired quarterback now. They've got, arguably one of the best running backs in the league that just can't play a whole damn season. And the same thing can be said for one of the receivers that's arguably one of the best receivers in the league. But yeah, so at quarterback, obviously, if you haven't been under a rock, you know that the Saints signed Derek Carr from the Raiders. And Derek Carr, I've watched Derek Carr's whole career, being from California. My dad's a Raiders fan. Most of my friends are Raiders fans. I don't claim Raider Nation, but I pay attention to all local sports, pretty heavily. So I followed Derek Carr's whole career, and he's just one of those guys that he's got the talent. He's really got the talent. He just needs to be put in, he had the 1 year where he was in the right situation and everything was clicking in Oakland. He broke his damn leg. And again, that's how small the margins are in professional sports, okay? He was having an MVP season, a possible Super Bowl run, and he broke his leg. Over. Done. Finito. And then the Raiders were never the same after that. So, he gets a new lease on life in New Orleans, coming in on top of Jameis Winston, who, Jameis Winston, arguably he should be the starting quarterback of that team. There's my wife.
Hi.
You're live.
Hi.
No one saw you. He should be the starting quarterback of that team. He definitely, obviously would be if they didn't sign Derek Carr. But the future of Jameis Winston seems brighter than the future of Derek Carr. That's all I'm saying. And to everybody who's a Derek Carr lover out there, I am too. I don't think, not that he's past his prime, not that any of that. I think with the roster that they have, the Saints are a team that are going to need some luck. They're going to need some flash. They're going to need something interesting to make it work down there. And Derek Carr is not bringing anything that resembles flash or interesting. He's bringing oatmeal, because that's what he is. He's just an oatmeal guy. He's just a normal dude. He doesn't have anything flashy about him, except for the one thing that I think is going to be his downfall is he's much buffer. If you've been watching anything of him this offseason, go look up a recent picture of Derek Carr. He's bulked up, dude. He's too buff. You know what happens. Quarterbacks get too buff. You can't be throwing. You can't have your bicep chafing every time you throw. I don't know. Put down the creatine, Derek. And obviously they still have Alvin Kamara behind him. Hopefully he stays healthy. They've got Jamal Williams. So hopefully that, 1-2 punch there can really do something. And then, in the receiving core, they've got Chris Olave, who blew it up last year, and then Michael Thomas will be back from injury again. And if everybody stays healthy on the Saints offense, they shouldn't have a problem generating offense, but their defense, I think, sucks balls. So I don't think they're going to have an explosive enough offense to cover for the deficit on their defense. So again, this whole division is just meh. Because also we got a moving on to the final team, the final breakdown of this division. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just a few years removed from a Super Bowl trophy, are now being led this season by shaky Baker Mayfield, who I'll follow wherever he goes, man. I'm a Baker Mayfield guy. I just like him. He was obviously, I can't say he was what Johnny Football was supposed to be, because they both kind of didn't meet expectations. Obviously, Baker is still in the NFL, so he's doing better than Johnny Football. But as far as that, brash, shit talking kind of face of the league kind of guy, going to be in all the commercials and da 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 da. He was that guy in Cleveland. It didn't work out. He went to LA, backed up Matt Stafford. Now he's going to Tampa Bay. He's getting a second chance to lead a team here. And, I mean, in his backfield, he's got Chase Edmonds, Rashad White. You know, on his flanks, he's going to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So he's got some guys. He's got some guys to put together some offense. And you notice I haven't even brought up the defenses of any of these teams because it really doesn't fucking matter. Because nobody from this division is even sniffing an NFC championship game. So it really doesn't matter. But as you know, as far as my NFC South rankings, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say the Baker Mayfield-led Buccaneers win that division. I'm going to say the Panthers are second. I'm going to say, ooh, this is hard. This is hard for me to say because I do like Derek Carr as a person. Falcons third. Saints are losing that division. They're coming in dead last in that division. That's my too early to tell picks for the NFC South. Buccaneers 1, Panthers 2, Falcons 3, Saints 4. Now, if you're a big football guy, if you think you're a bigger football guy than me and you think I got everything wrong, go hit the comments. Go hit the comments and let me know how wrong I was. But other than that, we'll be doing the NFC North next week. Or no, maybe we should go AFC South. We'll do it by direction. So we'll do AFC South next week. But that's just my opinion, all right? If you don't like it, you just get out. All right, well, Joey obviously not here today, but he did send me a quickie. He did from his deathbed. He sent me a quickie. That is, you guys all heard already, but probably if you're into sports, heavily, Orioles announcer Kevin Brown, he got suspended, now reinstated as of Friday, but suspended for, you see that headline, baseball announcer suspended, and these days you think, oh, was it a racial slur? Was it a homophobic slur? What kind of slur was it? This poor guy gets suspended for talking about the team's record. Literally. And not even in like a pejorative fashion, but just as a matter of fact, hey, we're playing at Tropicana Field, Tampa Bay Devil. Wait, is that the Devil Rays or is that Miami? Anyways, he's basically saying we haven't won a series at the, we against these guys for this long, blah, blah, blah. Just literally spitting out statistics, facts, the exact thing that his job is. And he gets fired, and the fucking owner of the Orioles, who's a real piece of garbage. I don't even have his name here. I'm not even sure. I can't remember. I think he's Avila. I think he starts with a name. Whatever. He's kind of a known douche nozzle. And he basically suspends this guy and then tells people it's because, we don't talk about the past. We're only being positive about the future. And it's like, yeah, but if you want to break it down, you guys are doing so well this year that just the contrast of him saying, look what happened in the past, now look what's happening now, it is a positive about what's happening now and what's happening in the future. We are on the right trajectory because this is where we were. Here's where we are now. Here's the statistics. We used to get our asses kicked here. Now we're winning. And it's crazy. The world is becoming a crazy place. Because, I sit here and I wonder, what kind of words and what kind of phrases are going to get people fired and get people canceled next week and the week after that and the weeks after that, because new things start becoming problematic every week, every day. But then now we got to worry about guys getting fired for just saying the shit that they're supposed to say. What's he supposed to say? Lie? You guys have sucked for years. So, is he just not supposed to talk about anything but what is literally happening right this second? I don't know. But You don't quite get the shout out, Kevin Brown, because you got your job back, so that's all good. Hopefully another team hires you, because get away from that shithouse organization, obviously. But fuck the Orioles. It's another reason why hockey's better than baseball. I'm sorry, baseball fans. I'm sorry. I just can't stop. I can't stop. Okay, this show's about over. We did it live. I hope it was a success. And maybe we can do more of these when we get Joey in studio. We'll do more live episodes. But let's hit our shout out for the end of the first ever live Bungalow Sports Show. Shout out goes to old Philly Mickelson. Philly Betta Billy, everybody. If you hadn't heard about it, this week a book came out. Some better guy released a book that's just, his big time bet, sports gambling type dude. And if you follow golf at all, you know that Phil Mickelson, not only one of the best golfers of all time, but also one of the most prolific gamblers of all time. And everybody suspected why he was so fast to take the live money and all that is because of his gambling debts and all that stuff. And now basically he's funded by the Saudis to go gamble as much money as he wants. But this book came out, and I know this guy's, it was his bookie or some shit like that. And he basically just straight up said, Phil Mickelson has gambled $1 billion in the last 30 years. And that's a lot of money. I mean, for a guy who makes hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, I guess. And it's also like money in, money won, money lost, money in, money out. It's not like he's deposited $1 billion into his betting account, but he's won some, bet it back in, won some, bet it back in, shit like that. But over the past 30 years, $1 billion. And he also tried to call in a bet to bet on the Ryder Cup that he was playing in. Just a straight degenerate gambler. And I love it. I love it for him. And that's, one of my only reasons that it's okay to take that Saudi money is to cover your degenerate gambling debts. But yeah, shout out to Phil Mickelson. Congratulations on betting $1 billion over the last 30 years. And, definitely not winning $1 billion, because we would have heard about that. But that's a show. Thank you if you tuned in live. Thank you if you're tuning in later in the week. Just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. From the Bungalow Sports Show, I'm Cole. Hopefully we'll have Joey back in here next week, and we'll talk to you guys next time.